Welcome back to Marvel Media Podcast, where we talk about all things media, especially Marvel. I'm Blake, and I'm with my co-hosts Alex and Josh.
And welcome to episode 11 of Gold or Fold, where today we'll be naming off our top 7 comic book characters. This can be literally Marvel, DC, whatever comics universe. It doesn't have to be a specific.
He is in there.
Sure,
crossover. There's
Sure.
a crossover between him and Batman and Robin.
Yeah, shit. If you want to do fucking Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, because apparently they also got a crossover with Batman. Yeah, you can do that.
IGN, they are comic.
Yeah, apparently. So, it doesn't matter if they're on our list. It could be because of the movies. It could be because of their powers, their stories, whatever. This is what our top 7 lists are. So, who would like to go first?
Me, number 7, Ghost Rider.
Just like that?
Nicolas Cage, that? Ghost Rider. Not the Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. I could not get into the Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D.'s Ghost Rider. I don't think he was bad, but I just couldn't get into it because that's kind of when Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D.'s I kind of lose an interest. But Ghost Rider, Nicolas Cage, I loved all of them. I don't care how bad people say they are. I love them. I've watched them plenty of times, and I will forever love them. That was also the first time I was introduced to Nicolas Cage as a kid. So
you met Nicolas Cage? You got introduced to him?
I did. Yeah, he tried dude. He had a skull, and I thought I was gonna die.
He was gonna judge you.
Yeah.
All right, Alex, what's your number 7?
Okay, my number 7 is my. I feel like you guys didn't put this on your list because you two had guessed it. I have Rorschach on here from The Watchmen. Rorschach, such a cool character. I love his design, his premise, everything is cool. Yeah, screw you guys for not guessing this. I like Watchmen. I actually got just for you guys, since we can't do visuals yet, I got a whole Watchmen thing here.
Damn.
And I got another one somewhere else.
What do you think of the movies? Cool
character. The movie it was good. I think it was a little long, but the character of Rorschach himself was dope.
I've never watched it,
ripped from the page.
Zack Snyder
really
did that
good.
one, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It stuck to his character pretty well. He is kind of like I don't know. He's very complex. He's kind of like an anti-hero kind of thing going on there. Obviously his mask, it moves, cool. It changes. He is cool. He wears a trench coat, the hat, and everything, and he narrates.
Male fantasy.
Okay, yeah, I know. I think your male fantasy is Mobius from Loki, so you don't need to bring that back. Yeah,
it is. Continue.
So basically, Rorschach, he's cool, man. He's brutal. He's an anti-hero character in The Watchmen. He is, considered among those heroes and villains. He's really the only one that doesn't really have superpowers per se. He's just really smart. He knows how to use his environment. He's kind of like a Batman character if Batman was like a dick. So
he can be at times.
Like Rorschach. He can be at times, but Rorschach is that almost 100% of the time.
Okay.
So for my number 7, this was tough. I had a lot of people in this slot.
Stop the cap.
I got down to 2 that are kind of similar. I'm not gonna do the cheesy cop out where I'm like, well, it's between these people and list the other people. I'm only gonna name the one who ended up edging out the other guy who's kind of close.
Because you didn't have the other one.
Cap. My number 7, because he does show up in comics. Hercules is my number 7. That's partly a pick because I just like Greek mythology, especially growing up and stuff. But Hercules does show up in some comics. He does have kind of this beef with Thor. But like I said, part of this was this number 7. He was between someone else who's kind of similar to him, but I was like, I'll go with him. I just like him. I think Hercules is cool. Like I said, this is a personal pick based off of some Greek mythology stuff that I like. But I don't know. He's just got a cool character. Like his background of his father was, hoeing around and has all these other kids, and he kind of got banned from Olympus, and he kind of had to like fight his way to Olympus. And then even once he was in there, he still wasn't really like fully respected and stuff. So I just like that kind of backstory about him, and just a fan.
He dies, actually. He's in Injustice, by the way. The Injustice series. Mr. Superman kills him.
Is he really?
Yeah, but Superman's a little beta-ass bitch, so who cares?
Whoa.
Chill.
Oh, shit. Okay, hey. All right, it's me next. Number 6. Number 6 is one that has, it's not a recency bias. It's more of the fact that I rewatched their first film. Is Doctor Strange for me. After recently watching all the Marvel movies and then watching the first one, Doctor Strange. I'm really enjoying him. I think the best part about Doctor Strange is that he enhances the universe around him. You put Doctor Strange in there, and the possibilities are endless in whatever storyline he's in. So overall, he just makes everything more fun. That's my number 6.
Oh, that's cool. I mean, it's a little weird how you chose when you just watched the movie, but I mean, that's cool.
Yeah, the guy whose movie he just saw a week ago.
Yeah.
It may or may not be influenced by it, but it's okay.
Cool.
Okay, so I guess I'll go with my number 6, unless Blake, you want to give any thoughts to his pick.
I mean, I can understand it. Like we said, I mean, obviously there is some recency bias of his. 2016 was his first appearance in the MCU? Was it?
Yeah.
In this movie? I mean, so obviously before that, no one really. I mean, we personally didn't probably care too much about him, but I mean, I get it. Benedict Cumberbatch has done phenomenal with that role, and his powers and everything are cool. But
he also was in like the Avengers animated series that I watched on Disney as a kid. And he was fun in that too.
Interesting.
Is it Avengers Assemble? I think that's what it's called. Yeah. I used to see like a few episodes here and there, but anyways, my number 6 is Wolverine. I gotta get Wolverine in there, dude. Wolverine's great. Needless to say, obviously, Hugh Jackman, great actor, to play the character for many, many years, and he did. I think after every time he played it, he just got better and better and better. But obviously just like the character himself, like in the comics, like in the animated series, he's always like kind of been, he's a hero, obviously, but deep down he has like this traumatic past, obviously, like the Weapon X program. And then I kind of found it funny that when they finally casted a Wolverine for live action, that they chose like completely opposite kind of person that they should have gone for, instead of going for like a 5'7" kind of character. They went for like a 6'3" guy. So I found that kind of funny, and how they never actually incorporated the yellow suit in any way or form.
They teased it in like
a deleted scene
X-Men
for the
class.
Wolverine. No.
Yeah, it was. It was teased because it was the one where it was the Japanese one, right?
Nope,
because he was on the plane.
That's the Wolverine, not First Class. That's the Wolverine.
I don't know. I'm not saying about the movie, but it was got teased.
Yeah, bro, he's not saying that.
Yeah, no, yeah.
It was teased.
Yeah, it got teased in a deleted scene.
Right.
I'm pretty sure.
It wasn't deleted.
It wasn't deleted. It was in the movie.
It was not deleted.
I'm pretty sure it was.
It was not, because I saw it.
Definitely saw it.
I did not care enough to look up a deleted scene for it.
Facts.
It was in it.
Facts.
I can put $5 on it. I can put $5 on it that it's a deleted
rich
scene.
now. Guy rich now, dude.
Okay,
and it wasn't actually.
Guy moves where he doesn't have taxes as hard.
Needless to say,
we have.
I feel like once the movie Logan came out, it finally showed what Wolverine can actually do. You start shaking it right now. It definitely is a deleted scene. So. And you finally saw him like actually ripping off limbs and stuff. He got the R rating. I feel like it did the character justice there. That's kind of what I wanted for that character in every other time that Hugh Jackman played it. But hey, it's the last time he gave it his all, and I appreciate that movie for that reason. But yeah, Wolverine, great character. I love him.
Facts. My number 6. I'm going with Doctor Doom. I think Doctor Doom is a dope character. Obviously, he has a. In terms of live action, he does not have the best representation. But as a character, there's animated stuff with him that actually shows him being the beast that he can be. He's just a dope character. His powers are just endless. If he wants to, he can just destroy everybody. Hopefully, we get him in the MCU in the powerful role he is. Maybe he's the one behind the Secret Wars, as in the comics he does have this whole battle world, which he basically just pulls all these multiverse people to fight each other simply because he wants to do it, because he's Doctor Strange or Doctor Doom. He can do what he wants. You can't stop him. So he just basically gets bored and is like, hey, I want to see a 1v1 Hulk versus Wolverine. Let's see it. Boom. They're on Battle World. Do it now. So I love Doctor Doom. I think he's a dope character. Like I said, hopefully we get him done right in a live action. I'd like to say Cillian Murphy. Please play Doctor Doom. I think he'd be dope. Or Michael Fassbender.
Oh,
Those are my
you
two
mean
people.
you mean Magneto or the guy who played Scarecrow? Those two?
Yeah, those are the two people in comic book stuff. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Honestly, I'm gonna say I'm gonna do what I want. I'm going next, number 5, Wolverine, because Alex just had him. I think we're so close to him that I'm gonna put him on mine now, or that I'm gonna say. Obviously, like everything he said, Hugh Jackman is a huge influence on why I like him. Because he literally played Wolverine since when I was born. Since then, this man has been in a movie and played Wolverine. He did it phenomenally, and even outside of Hugh Jackman, just the character itself, I think his powers are cool. I think his storyline of different things of him are cool. I just really like the character Wolverine, and again, potentially in the MCU. Hopefully, he gets represented soon. Who knows when the X-Men will actually officially show up? And like you said, it was interesting. I wonder if they will go with a shorter, more comic book accurate actor to play him. I know there was some rumors that it might be Taron Egerton, I believe is how you say his name. Eggsy from the Kingsman movies. There's potential out there that he's getting ready to play Wolverine. As recently, people have said how he's been posting him getting absolutely shredded. So, who knows? But, yeah, Wolverine, my number 5.
All right. Well, I guess I'll go with my number 5 because Josh mentioned this character already. Ghost Rider. Love Ghost Rider. Fucking dude, I love Ghost Rider. He's a god. And I agree with Josh. When I first saw the first Ghost Rider, I fell in love with the character.
Thank you.
Yeah. Nick Cage is a god. A part of me actually wants, well,
No, you don't.
like
Stop.
in
We
like
all
a
like the Nick
multiverse
Cage
kind of.
movies. We all like
No. Hold on. Like, say they do like another multiverse kind of thing.
Stop.
We see
We don't
Ghost
need that
Rider
again.
and we see Nick Cage Ghost Rider. Just like
We don't
a
need
brief
every
little-
movie to have a multiversal. Bring this guy over for to reprise his role. We don't need that. Get that out of your head. Norman Reedus, be our Ghost Rider.
No, I want the John Wick Keanu Reeves to be.
Keanu Reeves does not have.
Keanu
Keanu Reeves does not
go with
have
Norman.
that darker thing that Norman Reedus has.
I don't know about
Plus,
that.
Norman
It's
Reedus
more of
wants it.
Norman looks like a biker.
Yeah, he wants it too.
He's got the
Norman
biker
wants
aesthetic.
that role.
But continue, Alex. You were talking about
Go
your...
ahead. No, continue, please.
Okay, anyways, so I remember seeing the first movie. You know, it definitely has its issues. I didn't care. It was fun. I liked the whole Nick Cage, like his first transformation to like the full Ghost Rider look. He's like just going crazy, and you know he's doing his Nick Cage-isms, and he just slowly turns into the Ghost Rider. I loved it. It was cheesy, but it's like a guilty pleasure movie of mine. I love that movie. Plus, was her Dave? I think it's Eva Mendes in that movie as the love interest. For like 8-year-old us or 7-year-old us.
I mean,
Pretty
I know
fire.
who she is, but I don't remember that movie, to be honest.
Oh, I remember who she is. Okay.
Yeah, Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, and then oh, this, how can I not mention the scene where you see Carter Slade and you see him transform into his Ghost Rider, and then them both riding him on the
Yes, dude.
horse, and then him, and then
Yes.
he was on his motorcycle, and they were all in the Ghost Rider look. I was fire. I always thought that scene was fire.
Peak fan service right there.
It was. So
Yeah, I just think his little like, what is that? The thing he does where like you stare into his eyes and like see,
the
like
penance
feel
stare.
all the that I think that's a dope concept thing that I really like.
Yeah, the penance stare is fire. His whole design, his powers are cool. He has his chain. He can light it on fire. Dude, imagine that in the MCU. That'd be. Oh,
With
I want that
Norman
so much.
Reedus, oh my god.
I just want Ghost Rider. I just want him. At this point I really don't care. I just want to see him again in another Marvel property.
Facts.
So he is
I
my number 5.
All right, going with my number 5. Also, Blake, I gotta say, I can't believe you're accusing Alex of being wrong when it came to that Wolverine deleted scene. I think you do need to owe him an apology because it was a deleted scene. Yeah, so I'm sorry your memory's going away, bud. I know your birthday's coming soon, so you're kind of getting old. But anyways, number 5 is Black Mask for me. I know I've mentioned him before when we were talking about the future of like the Batman films, but I absolutely love the Black Mask. Even to the point when it came to like my GTA character, I literally would make him exactly like that. But that is my number 5 for that.
That's an interesting one. I mean, I know how you have said you want him to be. I have like with our DC one, you want him to kind of be a villain or potentially the person of the next movie. So that's not a surprise. We know that you are a fan of his. Alex, we'll go with your number 4 here.
Okay, so for my number 4, I have the Red Hood. The second Robin. I like Red Hood, dude. I remember when I guess that this was a thing where the writers were, kind of wondering what they should do with the second Robin, Jason Todd, and they wanted to. They pretty much gave the option to the public, like, should we kill him off? Should we keep him alive? And I guess they voted in to kill him. And they killed him, and then sooner or later he got brought back as the Red Hood, as like this, uber Batman, where he actually like kills and does not give any shits, and he ends up going against Batman a lot of the times. His design is just cool. He wears like the Red Hood helmet, like the biker jacket. He's pretty much strapped up with guns. I enjoy Red Hood, and I feel like we definitely need to see his character in a live action film soon. I don't know if it'll work in the Batman universe, but I mean, I feel like we should get Red Hood in some capacity. Definitely not whatever that was on the Titan show. That helmet was atrocious. I
Or
really
even
don't
in the
like
Gotham Knights that's coming out.
I'm not even paying attention to that. I'm not paying attention to that.
Do not pay attention to that.
I'm not. No,
it is bad.
I grew up watching the Under the Red Hood film for Batman, like the animated film.
Yeah,
I've watched it a few times. It's a good movie. I really liked it, and you kind of saw it. Like the beginning, Joker beating him with the crowbar. He gets resurrected with the Lazarus pit, and then he becomes this Red Hood character. And I just really like the character. He looks cool. His motives, because Batman doesn't kill, and he feels that the only way that you can put this cycle of violence down is by ending their lives. So I always thought that conflict between him and Batman was always cool. So that's why he's my number 4.
A quote by, I think it was the Punisher who said this quote. It was something like somebody was like, "Oh, if you just go and kill another killer, then like there's still the same amount of killers like in this world now. And he was like, that's why I don't stop at one. I always like that quote by him. I thought that was kind of dope that this man's just like, I'm putting these people down for good. But, you know, Red Hood, that Under the Red Hood, I did like that movie. That was actually really good. All right, Josh, it's your number 4.
Okay, my number 4 is a bit of a basic pick. It might be a shock to you that it's just low, though, as because my camera roll is full of this person, but it is Thanos. That is my number 4. I don't even need to explain the amount of times that we've talked about how great he is on this podcast. Simple as that. It's Thanos.
That's interesting. It makes sense, but he only has 2 movie appearances, and you have him at number 4.
Well, I mean, he's also all in like the Marvel anime.
Well, yeah, I know.
I
know.
I know, but he's not like he wasn't as known prior to
right. Like when you thought of big villains, you didn't think Thanos. Wow, that is interesting that you have him. For you personally, to have him that low is kind of interesting to me.
Mm-hmm.
Blake, go with your number 3.
My number 4.
Oh,
weird.
Wait.
Don't skip this man, because this man has been skipped on and slept on forever, and I'm tired of it, okay? People need to respect him and his movie coming out. Take out Amber Heard so I can watch it because I love him. Aquaman is my number 4. I love Aquaman. I think Aquaman is a dope character. I love water and stuff, so him and his powers I think are so cool. His trident is dope. Atlantis and all that stuff. I love Aquaman. I want to see him done right. Jason Momoa is great. Take out Amber Heard. Put a little bit of money into the budget. And let me see a good Aquaman. I love him. My number 4. For most of my life, if I could have powers of anybody, it would be Aquaman. Growing up, I wanted to be Aquaman so bad.
It's interesting that you say that, but then he's your number 4.
Yeah, because I grew up. And then I realized swimming with fishes is not as cool as I think.
Damn, so there's probably a big reason why you haven't watched Peacemaker is because of how he insulted Aquaman.
I mean, why would I watch Peacemaker? Why?
This is actually pretty funny.
I don't need 1,000 dick jokes per episode.
Whoa, it wasn't like that.
Guy praises James Gunn and then proceeds not to watch it.
What do I praise James Gunn?
Guardians of the
That's
Galaxy.
what I thought. I like Guardians of the Galaxy, but I was the one who said Suicide Squad was a little meh. All right, Josh, your number 3.
All right, my number 3, okay, is a character I love, and it is my personal favorite villain out of all comic book villains, and is the biggest reason why I was so pissed off about their portrayal when it came to their movie, and that is Ultron.
What?
I love Ultron. I love Ultron.
Alex, please tell me you were thinking. All right, say it on. Okay, ready? Joker.
Yes.
Okay.
That's my
Okay.
number
Yeah.
Nope.
3. That's my number 3.
100% thought
me too.
we were going Joker.
I'll be honest with you guys. Joker isn't on my list.
He's not on mine
I'll
either.
just say it. Yeah. Like I like the Joker, but he doesn't have that personal impact for me. Ultron, for me, is my personal favorite. I mean, I was raised up like with technology being a big part. I literally graduated as a computer scientist. So then when I first saw Ultron
Weird
as a
flex,
kid,
but okay.
well, I mean, I was saying this like when I first graduated as
Cool
a kid,
story, bro.
seeing Ultron and the fact he was connected to Iron Man 2, I just loved it. And then he was just ass. He was so ass in his movie. Just, he was nerfed. His dialogue at some points were just so fucking bad. Just all of it pissed me off. But the what if, hey, I love that. So thank you, Marvel, for at least giving me that.
That was your redemption arc.
It was. It was.
That episode was nuts.
I'm just saying he needs to make a return. If he makes a return, he will give a god tier movie. without a
That
doubt
is
in my
actually
mind.
true. If they gave Ultron a good attempt of not even a solo, like give him, he's definitely a multiple villain. He doesn't have to be the big bad, and like everything doesn't have to relate to a huge big bad, but he definitely can have multiple appearances and not be like a villain that we're like, oh, it's Ultron again. Like if they do him properly, Ultron could be a dope villain for
Bro,
several movies.
Ultron could be incredibly strong.
And I mean, obviously, James Spader, maybe let's not have him voice him. But you could kind of go with, I don't know, who would you want to hear voice him?
I haven't really thought too much. Like his voicing wasn't much of a bother for me, honestly, when it came to Age of Ultron. I didn't mind it so much. It's just more of how the character was done in that movie, and the fact that he just fucking dies after one film. But
Right.
I also want more interactions with him and Vision.
You mean White Vision?
Their little conversation at the end was pretty interesting.
Yeah. Well, I was born yesterday was still one of my favorite lines.
That scene was actually pretty good. Of the few bright spots of that movie.
Mm-hmm.
Alex, what's your number 3?
Well, it's the one that we thought that Josh was gonna do, is be Joker. Joker's on there. Yeah. Obviously Heath Ledger, God, Joaquin Phoenix did a really good job with his portrayal of Joker. Mark Hamill as a Joker in the Batman animated series, underrated. He even comes back for the Batman Beyond animated series, still good. Yeah, the Joker is just super iconic. Like, I feel like, how can you not have him on here at this point? But yeah, it is what it is. I understand you guys have other reasons for why you have your characters on there. You guys said that Joker isn't on either of your lists?
Nope.
Yeah. Well, Thanos wasn't on mine. If he was in the top 10, I mean, if like we could do
Not
a top
on mine
10,
either.
Thanos would have been in the top 10, but no. He only had like 2 movies, and he was teased like twice in two other movies. That was it. Really. Joker has been around since fucking forever. He's been in the comics since Detective Comics became a thing.
Yeah, he was an OG.
Yeah, so it's the Joker. That's pretty much all I have to say.
I'll hop in here with my number 3 because he's the counterpart to yours, Batman. I mean, he is one of the OG just superheroes. I feel like, and if anybody does a list like this, if Batman's not on their list, top 5 minimum, you're just capping. Like, he is a all-time character. Obviously, if you're talking about just live action portrayals, we've had him some not great portrayals. Looking at you, George Clooney. And then we've had
Bat nipples.
some phenomenal. Yeah, like that
I would
was
suck on them.
Adam West. That was just, you guys were.
I watched too much of Adam West Batman.
Like, I know they're listening. They are one of our
The shark spray.
few subscribers here. I know it's Clooney and West because we talked to them. You guys sucked as Batman, just so you know. You were saved by Mr. Freeze, just so you know. Arnold, buddy, you're our other subscriber. You killed it as Mr. Freeze. But then you go more recent, obviously, the Christian Bale phenomenal trilogy. Everyone loved that. Obviously, Heath Ledger as Joker was phenomenal. Tom Hardy as Bane was also really good. I mean, obviously, I'd like to see Bane actually be using Venom and stuff like that. But and then obviously we talked about how much we all liked the Batman with
Pattinson.
good old Pattinson. He was great. And we're excited for him more. But yeah, Batman's just an iconic superhero. You just have to like him. He's a normal guy. He also is just an extra thing that, we kind of like more as like younger kids that you can kind of be like, oh, if I just get like $80 billion, I could become Batman.
Yeah.
And also I might have to lose my parents, but if it's character growth, sorry guys, but like this is my journey. So Batman's just iconic. It's, I got to be the hero the city needs, not the one they want.
Facts. I kind of want to say my number 2 since you already said him as your number 3, but Josh, go ahead.
Yeah.
What's your number 3?
Oh, I already had my number 3. I'm on my number 2.
Oh,
Then go ahead, Alex.
it's Batman, obviously. Pretty much echoing what Blake said. He's iconic as fuck. Plus, he like transcends just his movies, comics. He's in video games. He's a pop culture icon. He's everywhere, man. Like he has to be on your list if you're talking.
People
any
who
sort of
don't
comic
know
book characters.
superheroes know Batman.
Yeah, exactly.
He's just one of those. I would say there's maybe 3 characters that probably most of the people in this world know of. Batman's one of those 3.
Absolutely. And I think why I have him this high as well is just because of his rogues gallery as well. It's like not only do you get a really cool character in, Bruce Wayne Batman, but you get obviously all of his villains, all of his, sidekicks that he's had throughout the years. And then any of the characters that, are built around him. So yeah, Batman is my number 2.
So funny enough, boys, my number 2, it is Batman, but I knew you guys would have Batman as well. So I went kind of more specific of it's Batman Beyond for me, mainly because, I've said before, I want to see it so bad. But out of all the Batman shows, movies, and all that, my most watched to this date is still Batman Beyond. I mean, I still have VHS recordings of it on tape. As well as my favorite part about Batman Beyond.
Do you have a VHS player to watch those?
I do actually, yeah. I still have one that works.
What?
Yeah.
That's wild.
But it's mainly because we get to see an older Bruce in that. And then the whole storyline was the fact that he quit being Batman because, he finally got to the point where he had to use a gun to win a fight. He didn't actually like use it. But he had to use it to defend himself. And that's when he retired. And then now you kind of see the storyline built off from that. And plus it goes, I mean, I love futuristic cities and everything like that. If you made a Batman Beyond with like Roadrunner visuals, dude, that'd just be peak for me. Absolutely. So I have to give it to Batman Beyond.
All right, I'll go with my number 2. A man that pains me to say he's my number 2. Because as great as his movies haven't always been the best, but him in other movies has been good. The actor has done phenomenal with him. He continues to play him phenomenally. But his next movie is going to suck. Thor is my number 2. And it pains me to say that because our next Marvel movie is Thor 4, which is going to suck. And it hurts. I love Thor. I've always loved Thor. I think part of it is just because he's blonde, has long hair, and I grew up, blonde, long hair. And so I was just like, yo, this guy's dope. And then the fact he's jacked, he's a god, which ties back into me being obsessed with the whole Greek mythology thing and him and Hercules having their stuff. I just love Thor. I think his character is dope. Again, he has a similar Hercules type. What's that for?
Did you say that he's not a Greek god, he's a Norse god?
I'm saying like the whole Greek or the whole god thing. And then you have to tie in with the Greek gods of him and Hercules having like their beef and stuff.
So you're just like into like
just
the god
gods.
mythology.
I'm saying just gods, yeah, the whole mythology god stuff, and they tie in with the Greek
cool.
stuff. He does.
Okay.
I just always loved him. I think he's a dope character. Like I said, his movies. I mean, I would safely say he has the worst trilogy just because of how bad the first 2 bring him down. Even though I will fight to the death, Thor 1 is worse than Thor 2. People, just stop. Watch them back, and tell me I'm wrong. You can't. But it pains me that 3 of his 4 movies are going to be bad. But I love the character himself, and Chris Hemsworth has killed it in the Avengers movies and stuff. I think they did kind of make him suck a little bit in Endgame, which hurt. But yeah, I love Thor so much. He's one of those characters that for all of time, anytime I see Thor's in something, I'm gonna be excited. Except for Thor number 4, which is gonna be ass.
Okay, well then I will go into my number 1, and this is It's a basic pick, but it has reason to it because it has such an influence on my other picks, and that is Iron Man. As Iron Man is responsible for my most watched movie, and then as Iron Man 2, you got to love the character to be able to watch that movie that many times, as I know it's not good, but I think it's good. And it's also why, for me, why Thanos, I didn't say when I said Thanos was number 4, was because when he was in Infinity War, when I saw Iron Man face him and then he just gets stabbed, I mean, that was probably the most impactful comic book scene for me until Endgame, obviously, when he dies. But at that moment, I was just, the woman was too stunned to speak, okay? Because I was like, we are about to see, my favorite character he's going to die. He lost. He prepared everything. He was scared for this moment for so long, and he lost. And I don't. So that's why Ultron also was high as well. Was just because of that connection with Tony. But Iron Man, without doubt, is my number 1. I've watched all his movies too many times. I love them. Just also the fact that his comedy is the best too. It's never forced. Never.
I think the best part of that answer that is criminally underrated that no one else will get to see after this when this recording's over is Alex's reaction of him slowly realizing it's not his number 1 and his number 1 is not on any of our lists. Just seeing that Alex slowly realized that he wasn't about to say who he thought it was, I thought was just great right there.
Yeah.
No, I mean, obviously Iron Man, in terms of, obviously we are in more MCU-based Marvel fans as opposed to the actual comics. Obviously, Iron Man, Tony Stark, Robert Downey Jr. has been a huge, huge influence of that, as obviously he kicked off the MCU. So it makes sense that he's your number 1, and why some of those other people were on your list from their connections with him. I feel like that was very clear. Your guys' number 1s, I feel like, were very clear of who they were going to be. If you know you guys, it's not it's basic. It's just knowing you guys, and I know how much you guys talk about them. Knowing you, that I feel like it just knew you guys' number 1s.
I know you said we're more of a Marvel thing, but I grew up with more DC, and even when it comes to actually owning comics, I only own DC comics. I don't own a single Marvel comic at all. So for the fact that Iron Man actually replaced, like I said, Batman Beyond is my number 2, is a big deal to me. And then also the on-screen impact with especially his other villains. Also, he's the only guy that I've actually shown true emotion to when it comes to him being injured. When I said he got stabbed, I was just absolutely stunned. And then him actually dying in Endgame, that was the saddest I've been when it comes to any of these comic book movies.
Really?
Yeah. So that's why I have to. Just to myself, I have to have Iron Man as number 1.
Makes sense. Alex, we all know it. Just go ahead. Let's get your number 1 done.
Now, come on, guess it. I'm actually curious.
It's Spider-Man.
We know it's Spider-Man, Alex.
Okay, yeah, it's Spider-Man.
It's Spider-Man.
It's Spider-Man. Yeah.
Literally, you love Spider-Man 2. The movie is one of your probably most watched movies of all time, and you love the Spider-Man video games. We know it's Spider-Man.
Yeah, I grew up with Spider-Man, so you guys know. I've already said it a million times already. So obviously, the character himself, the different variants of him, Miles Morales, Spider-Man 2099, Spider-Man Noir, all of his villains from the main Peter Parker Spider-Man, all good villains. Same thing as Batman. Incredible line of villains, characters that help him on his journey. The movies, the games. He's up there with Batman in terms of popularity as an icon of pop culture. So yeah, it's definitely Spider-Man for me.
I was gonna say, when I said there's probably 3 characters that everybody knows, it's Batman, Spider-Man, and I think people can argue the third, but I think, which I'm surprised he's not on any of our lists, but I think Superman is the third.
Yeah.
If you ask
Yeah.
anybody, even if they don't know superheroes, they know those three. Which is
My issue with
interesting.
Superman is just the movies. Like, he hasn't been done right too much
think
when it
he's
comes
just-
to movies.
I think he's just a tough character to. I mean, like, I like him. He's interesting, but just to me, he's just a tough character because it's like he's supposed to be this unstoppable, godly force. It's like he's anticlimactic to me because for the most part, it's like either he bodies everybody or they have kryptonite and he's nothing. So, like,
Well,
to me,
I
that's why
liked-
he's a little meh.
I liked Man of Steel, and like it
Well, yeah,
showed
I mean,
his like
Henry
weaknesses.
Cavill, phenomenal.
Actually, I don't know. Man of Steel
Bring
is
him to the
still
MCU.
controversial, actually, when it comes to people liking it or not. To my
Oh, really?
surprise, yeah, actually,
I
like,
thought
when
that was
it
like
comes
a base
it's
one everybody knew.
no, it's split amongst like the DC fan base as well as like you got the cultist Zack Snyder fans as well, but it is split of actually people liking Man of Steel. But I loved it, especially that scene with the fact that he had to kill Zod, and also you see the fact of his human side all throughout that movie. And so I think
Will
they
say-
done that movie great.
My big issue with Man of Steel is his dad dying of a tornado.
Oh yeah, that scene.
Why did Superman's dad die with Superman right there?
Because he
Like,
says
he
he
didn't
couldn't
fully get
save
his
him
powers.
because it would have exposed him in
But,
front
like,
of the community. So he was
in
just he
front of,
wanted
like,
his
the
son to have a
two
normal
people?
life.
In front of like
No,
two
that-
people.
Dude, it was on a highway. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure there was. I don't remember there being like a whole bunch of people around.
there's a decent amount of people. It wasn't a
Like,
lot,
I feel
but
like
there's a decent.
very easily he could have just saved his dad real quick.
It just felt like it was insulting to my Midwest culture, you know?
Right, that's what like I feel like as a Midwesterner, we grew up in that lifestyle of tornadoes and like you can't die to a tornado, man.
I don't know.
You just
Maybe we
can't.
should be grateful for
You just
representation of our weather.
I mean, they did shoot it around where we grew up,
yeah,
a scene, but
which is pretty cool.
you just can't die to tornadoes. This is a
Well,
lesson to everybody out there. You just can't.
Exactly. Can't be got.
You
Also,
can't be-
I will
you
say,
can't let a tornado get you.
when it comes to Superman, that also the tough part about it is that now we've seen, like, when it comes to The Boys and then also Invincible, we've now seen so many iterations of, like, basically Superman going bad. So if they did try to do that Injustice storyline, it almost at this point would feel cheesy
Yeah, like
So
I
it
said,
makes it
he's just a
even
hard
harder.
character.
for Superman to just be done right.
Well, yeah, because Warner Brothers has fucked up on their plan.
Everything.
They don't have anything. They don't literally. They have nothing.
Henry Cavill
Yep.
was great too. Like he
I
was so
know.
good.
Perfect casting. I
mean,
do
they
know a
did
lot.
find
A lot of people
really
love
good.
the Superman show on CW. Actually,
Oh,
a
that's
lot
the
of
one
people
with,
are actually really big fans of it.
I can't think of his name now. I remember
Tyler.
him from other stuff.
Tyler.
Which I'm surprised that kicked off because that started in Supergirl because that was back when I was actually watching the CW shows, and it
Yeah,
made
he has,
it
like, a
didn't seem
Superman
like he
and
was going to
Lois show.
actually. Yeah, it didn't seem like they were going to actually do a solo show, and then they did, and they actually gave him a proper budget for a CW show. And I think that show is actually getting more of a budget than even The Flash was at that point. So it was surprising to me. But yeah. Anyways, we kind of got off topic there, but
A little bit. That happens.
Blake, it is your number one.
My number one is I mean, for me, Josh knows exactly who's. I don't think Alex. Alex, who do you think my number one is?
I don't know. I
That's
honestly
interesting.
don't know at this point.
He's my favorite character of all time. I am a slut for him. Anytime he's in anything,
He is.
I will be there. I also just love characters that are anti-heroes. They can be villains. They can be full blown villains. They can be They can be anything. I love Magneto with all of my heart. I think he is one of the dopest characters. I love his powers are so cool to me. Like I said, his backstory and stuff. I think in like the X-Men movies, I think were a huge part of why I liked him because like those early X-Men, like I said, you know, the first one came out in 2000 when I was born, and I didn't grow up a big animated fan. I'm not a big animated fan, so when I watched superhero movies when I was younger, it was basically those original X-Men movies because until, you know, I also would watch the Sam Raimi movies, but I loved the X-Men movies. I love the X-Men in general, and you cannot have the X-Men without Magneto because he's just such a cool, complex character. Just everything about him. Like I said, his power, his backstory of how tragic it is that he has to learn of his mutations because of being captured in Auschwitz and his family dying, and he's a survivor of that. And I think he is such a cool character. I love Magneto. Michael Fassbender was phenomenal as Magneto in those movies. I think both him and James McAvoy as Professor X were both really, really good. I think both those actors are also just phenomenal. But yeah, Magneto is. I don't ever see anyone ever overtaking my number one comic book character. I just love him. And like I said, I love villains, heroes. They can be either anti-heroes, whatever you want to call them. I just love that character arc for them. So yeah.
I feel like Fox really nailed both castings for both of those characters, especially Magneto, like the older Magneto, and then obviously Michael Fassbender. Yeah, I agree.
Dude, X-Men casting was great.
It was, yeah. So
literally for majority of the characters, it was just spot on.
For the OG ones, like the early 2000 ones, they were all good. The newer ones, the first, I would say 2, they did relatively good on. The third one, and I guess you could even say Dark Phoenix, I think they fumbled a couple bags.
Yeah.
But, yeah, like you said, though, I think they did. Those two, specifically, Magneto is both Ian McKellen. I think that's his name, how you pronounce it. Both him as Magneto back then, and then Michael Fassbender. And then Patrick Stewart and James McAvoy being Professor X, also phenomenal. But yeah, I'm a huge Magneto slut. Anything Magneto.
I loved his in the newer ones. I don't remember the X-Men films that well, but I know I remember this one train scene where Magneto just like absolutely just crushes the back of the train
he's
with guys in it,
and
just boom.
What am I saying? The chick who could transform, Mystique.
Mystique.
I was combining the two. Yeah, when he's saving her, and he's literally just walking in the middle of the road, and there's a convoy of trucks, and he's literally just like flicking 2 hands up, and they just go flying in the air and stuff, and then he just like crushes them. He's just, I love his powers. I think Magneto's so cool. I love him.
I can see now why you want him to be like Doctor Doom in the MCU. At least Michael Fassbender.
Yeah,
I can see, dude. He has that like presence, like that on-screen presence, where he can be that like all-powerful character.
Yes, he is. And then in what's it called? X-Men Apocalypse, which that's another movie I learned that a lot of people don't like. I didn't know that was a thing. I like before, and I know this sounds. I'm going to be the annoying person. I liked the Amazing Spider-Man series before Andrew Garfield came back and everyone went back and was like, oh, they're not that bad. I loved them. And when I first started to like you two were the first ones I said like, oh, I love those. And you guys were like,
yeah, we can vouch for Blake. Yeah, we can vouch for Blake. We don't like them, but Blake does, yes.
And I was like, what are you guys talking about? Those were good. What? Like, I didn't know that was a thing. And Apocalypse is another one. I didn't know that was a thing, that it's not good apparently. Dude, his scene when his kid and his wife die in his arms, and he takes the necklace of his parents, and he just kills all those guys, and then he's just hugging them. He's like, is this what I am? Is this all that I am? Dude, so good. I also just watched those movies literally in the past 2 days, so that's a part of it. But I love him. Magneto is forever in my heart.
That's dope. That's a dope ass pick. I didn't think that was going to be your number one, but yeah, that's a pretty good pick. Funny you should mention. I remember seeing that scene when I first saw X-Men Apocalypse. Not gonna lie, I felt a little something there, like when his daughter like gets shot, and then dude, Michael Fassbender is a fucking phenomenal actor. He's really good. I felt something. I was like, okay, feeling a little choked up there. Definitely hit me in the feels there. So yeah, absolutely. I think the character of Magneto, like just comics, he's dope concept. Like the powers are phenomenal. The portrayal from both actors just elevated that, especially
100%.
Seeing like the younger side of Magneto for sure, definitely even kind of like skyrocketed to him being like that all-powerful villain that can sometimes be a good guy. But I think what makes him such a good villain is because he sees himself, being the good guy. He's looking out for mutant kind, and obviously
and you can kind of understand
about
it
a different way. Yeah, absolutely.
You can definitely see why, like, you can see why humans aren't going to take mutants in a good light. So you can see why he's like, we're the superior evolution. Like they're eventually going to come for us. So it's kind of like
We got
he's trying to win a war before it's a war. He's like, we need to do stuff now, which obviously isn't the best approach. But like I said, I just like complex characters that you can agree with them and their values of being good or bad. And like I said, I like how he's sometimes good, sometimes bad, anti-villain, anti-hero, whatever kind of guy.
Isn't he also Jewish?
Yeah,
Yes.
Isn't that like
remember
part
when
of
I said
the?
his parents were in Auschwitz, and that's how he learned.
Oh
his
yeah,
powers
okay, I
and
missed that bit.
whatever.
That's what I thought. I couldn't
Because
remember
he
if
was
that
on
was
his
true or
phone.
not.
You guys can't see it, but Josh was literally on his phone, just disrespecting me. That's my
I'll
number.
let you
I'm
talk.
talking about my
though.
number
I
one
knew it was your
comic book character
character.
of all time, and he just disrespected me. That's great. That's actually great. Well, guys, I hope you liked this. This will be the last one with the three of us. We're going back to the OG, just Alex and I, because Josh is just disrespectful.
Actually, no. Blake decided to work on Fridays, so it's actually just we're disbanding the podcast until we get one more subscriber.
It's probably going to be Michael Fassbender. It's going to be him. We have George.
No, it's going to be George
Adam
Clooney.
West. We have those two already.
No, it's going to be his burner account to hate on us in the comments below.
He's KD. That's crazy. I didn't know he was KD. That's going to wrap up this video. Just quick thing. I think it's interesting. No Superman in anyone's list, and no Spider-Man for Josh and I. Quick thoughts on that, Josh?
Well, I made my list more of like personal impact when it comes to just overall. Yeah. Right. So like I absolutely love Spider-Man, and I played more Spider-Man games than I did any Batman games. Like I played all of them, especially like the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man games. I played all of those. They also had an cartoonist like Spider-Man game where you can actually go around, like it was an open world. That one was really fun. As well as they had a bunch of spin-off Spider-Man games where it was like friend or foe, where you could play co-op with a friend on that one. That one's really fun.
Shadows.
Yeah.
Spider-Man, Ultimate Spider-Man.
Yeah, for me, for Spider-Man, it was more of he had an impact when it comes to like video games, but for movie-wise, my list of other guys had more impact. So that's kind of like how I judged that. Yeah.
I used to play his game on my Game Boy.
Game Boy.
Yeah. Parents would hear my parents come to my room. I'd shut that thing and put it under my pillow. Act like I'm asleep. Great times. That's going to wrap up this episode, though. Make sure to like this. Leave a comment down below if, any of our characters surprise you. You liked a character we missed out on, maybe. Obviously, kind of surprised Josh didn't have Morbius up there. Kind of weird, but we'll move on.
I know. Once I see it the 7th time, I think he will be up there.
Leave a like, comment down below. Subscribe to the channel. Of course, you'll be one of the few people subscribed to a channel that both George Clooney and Adam West are subscribed to. That is a fact, as long as you don't fact check me. We'll see you guys in the next time.
Peace. Rest in peace, Adam West, because he's no longer alive. So.
Oh shit.